Good morning, guys. At least it is not so nasty a morning as it was yesterday. Yesterday was a beautiful sunrise, but it was just a gross day. I was rewatching some of the vlog from yesterday to see if everything flowed appropriately. But it's about 8:30 in the morning. Christina, Duncan, and Ellis are all gone, and I've got to head for jury duty. Kind of chilly and brisk. But look at the clouds in the distance. That's just foreboding. Hopefully that does not turn into nasty, nasty storm. I had a comment this morning asking about jury duty, what it is, what it means, things like that. So I may have to take a little while after I get out of jury duty and just give an explanation if there's time. That was relatively painless yet again. It's 9:20 and I'm already out and ready to head home for the day. Maybe we'll take a little bit of time and go over the whole jury process as far as I understand it so far. All right, a few minutes later I am home. Let's talk a little bit about jury duty. I'm not 100% done with it, so I'm not gonna be what you call an authority on it, but I thought I'd just take a couple of minutes and explain what it is and why you do it and how it all works and everything. So first off, how do you get selected to be a juror? You have to be at least 18 years old, and they pull the names from the driver's license records as well as your voter registration records and your income tax records. So basically, if you're an adult and you've made money in your life and you've driven somewhere, you're probably gonna show up in their database and you might end up on jury duty at some point. What happened yesterday was about 50 or 60 people were all called into one room. The people that have requested to be excused, if they were excused, they were sent out. You can request to be excused if you have a doctor's note or if you have some sort of an extraneous reason, financial hardship, or you don't actually live in the town, or there's just a bunch of different reasons. I didn't have one of those. So the rest of the people that were there get to be on what's called jury duty. And in this case, in the state of Kentucky, in the county that I live in, they do it in 2-month cycles. So I am on jury duty for the next 2 months. Of the people that were in that room, 50 or 60 people, 12 of those people were selected to be on the grand jury, which means that they meet once a week and they help to make the decision as to whether whatever it is that they're talking about should be brought as charges against a person. So for example, if you think there might be enough evidence that someone is dealing drugs, they bring all of that before the grand jury to see if the grand jury says, yes, this is something they should be charged with. And then it would actually go to a trial. So you're not actually dealing with individual people, you're just dealing with the facts behind a case or the evidence behind a case. I was not selected for that, which is kind of a good thing. It would be once a week, it would be for a few hours, like basically the entire morning, and it would be guaranteed you'd have to be there for a certain amount of time. So I was in the What's Left group, which they called the Pettit jury or Pettit, I don't know. And those are the people that are going to be left to serve on civil cases and felony crime cases and misdemeanor cases, district and circuit court cases. Those are hard words to say. And so as a result, every day I have to call in and see if I have to report for jury duty the next day, Monday through Friday. So Sunday night through Thursday night, I have to call in. I called in last night, and as you heard in yesterday's vlog, jurors with the last names A through L had to report this morning. I reported this morning. There were about 25 of us in the courtroom, and I think 8 to 10 people that just didn't show up. By the way, I forgot to mention, if you don't show up, you get held in contempt of court, which means you have to go before the judge and say why you didn't show up. And if you don't have a good enough reason, they can do some pretty nasty things to you, up to and including putting you in jail and or fining you. It's not a pretty thing. So you are supposed to show up. But of the 25 people that were in the courtroom, in this case, they picked out 12, randomly selected from the list of names they had. Those 12 people went up and sat in the jury box. The attorneys on the case got to talk to them and interview them, see if they had any sort of bias or any sort of thing that would keep them from making a fair decision in this case. Doesn't matter what the case was, they just asked them a handful of questions. Then the 2 attorneys went out of the room, made their decisions as to who they wanted to cut. I think they had a total of 3 or 6 they could cut out, and then the remaining people were randomly selected again, and 6 people were taken from that. So out of the 25 people in the room, 6 people have to stay, which I was not one of the ones selected, so I got to go home. Now I do still have to call in every night and keep an eye on it because there could be other cases that I have to show up and work on. And for every day that you're actually in, every day you get called in, you get paid. And here in the state of Kentucky, the payment is $12.50 per day. It's like $5 for your time and $7.50 for expenses, being parking and food and whatever else you might need during the day. Wow. Now I think I was asked the question, what happens with your job? I think it's a federal thing, but you have to be allowed off for jury duty. They don't have to pay you, but they do have to allow you off. The company I work for luckily has a very flexible time off policy, so I told my boss I had jury duty. He kind of groaned about it, but nothing they can do. They have to let me off. And because we do have they call it ROW, it's results only, meaning as long as I'm still putting in the work, as long as I'm still getting my job done, they're gonna pay me no matter what, and I can take off as much time as I need. So as a result, this is gonna be some time that I'm taking off. But I think that's the grand majority of the whole jury duty thing. After the month of April is over, my jury duty service service is done. Technically, I'm added back to the pool and I could be called again immediately or any time over the next rest of my life. So far, it hasn't been a terrible experience. So I would say don't be completely terrified if you do get jury duty, if you're here in the States. It's not gonna be the absolute worst thing that's ever happened. I think that's gonna wrap up this little section of the vlog. It's gone on for entirely too long. Moving on. And we're all home and it's Taco Tuesday on a Wednesday. What are these things? They're like little boats. Is it Taco Boat Tuesday, Wednesday? Yeah. Ooh. Oh, something struck his fancy. He's just smiling. Look how happy. He was almost laughing. Taco time. I have been dispatched to the store. If you hadn't guessed, it is much, much later. Well, I guess it's not that much later. It's like 6:20. Duncan is not feeling terribly well, and the medicine that we normally give him for like cold and cough symptoms, he's completely out of. And we're low on a bunch of other things, so Christina basically just put together a list that, if I hadn't walked out the door, was rapidly growing. It's a really pretty sunset. Nice. About 20 minutes later, and a tiny cart full of groceries later. Still, very pretty sunset. So while I was at the store, I picked up this thing that we've been talking about. Oh yeah, and he's talking too. We've been talking about doing this for a little while, kale chips, specifically the Cool Ranch, just because. Let's see. They don't smell good.
Put one in your mouth.
Put it in my face hole.
Nope.
No. Not gonna throw them away. The aftertaste, it definitely has a Cool Ranch aftertaste. It just tastes kind of like dirt. Dirt? Yep.
Water.
Oh, you're just playing up a little storm in there. You having fun. Having all the fun. Can I try this thing again? Oh. You liking it or not? You sitting up? He's thinking about it. Getting better. Little by little. Ooh. Ooh, you talking? You thinking about it? Ooh. That was close. Say mama. Tell her. Say mama. Nope.
Who's gonna win?
He's trying. Say ma, ma. Come on, you can do it. Say ma.
That was really cool.
Well, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up for today. I'm gonna be spending the rest of the evening taking care of this little poop. He's had his last bottle of the day, but he's not quite ready to go to sleep yet. Probably slept entirely too much today. I've been doing what I can. He just doesn't want to stay awake. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to try to watch a movie and try to get him to calm down and just hang out. There's so many other things I would love to be doing right now, but this is a good one. This is not a bad thing to be doing. I don't like doing it this late at night because I would much rather he be sleeping, because if he sleeps, then he'll wake up at a reasonable time and it'll be easy to get him going in the morning, and oh well. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for listening to me ramble a bit today, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye guys.